Greetings everybody! Well, our look at the Harry Potter film series is almost to a close, and so we're going to look at the penultimate chapter of that series with Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 1. So, here we go. First, before I go any further, I'm going to be looking at the plot and the production of this movie. So, now, without further ado, here we go. The Minister of Magic, Rufus Scrimgeour, addresses the wizarding media, stating that the Ministry remains strong despite Lord Voldemort gaining power and the Death Eaters committing mass killings of Muggles and infiltrating the Ministry. Meanwhile, Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, and Hermione Granger resolve to complete the mission Albus Dumbledore gave Harry by hunting down and destroying Voldemort's Horcruxes. Severus Snape informs Voldemort of Harry's impending departure from Privet Drive. Voldemort commandeers Lucius Malfoy's wand, due to his own wand sharing the same core as Harry's, and therefore being unable to kill him. I guess that makes sense. The Order of the Phoenix escort Harry to safety using Polyjuice Potion. During their flight, they are ambushed by Death Eaters, who kill Mad-Eye Moody and Hedwig, injure George Weasley, and incapacitate Rubeus Hagrid. Damn! Arriving at the Burrow, Harry has a vision of the wand-maker Gregorovitch being tortured by Voldemort. The next day, Scrimgeour arrives at Dumbledore's will. Ron receives Dumbledore's Deluminator. Hermione receives a copy of the Tales of Beedle the Bard, and Harry receives the first golden snitch that he caught in a Quidditch match. Scrimgeour reveals that Harry was also bequeathed the sword of Gryffindor, which has gone missing. The Death Eaters kill Scrimgeour and replace him with Pius Thickness. The Ministry begins arresting and persecuting Muggle-born witches and wizards. Death Eaters also attack during Bill Weasley and Fleur Delacour's wedding. Kingsley Shacklebolt's Patronus Charm forewarns the wedding party, and most escape. Harry, Hermione, and Ron separate to London, but are attacked in a diner by Death Eaters. The Drew seek refuge at number 12 Grimmauld Place. They discover that the RAB from the fake Horcrux locket is Regulus Arcturus Black, younger brother of Sirius Black. Creature, the Black's house elf, tells them that Mundungus Fletcher broke in and stole many items from the house, including the real locket. Creature and Dobby apprehend Fletcher, who reveals that the locket is in the possession of Dolores Umbridge. Oh great, we now have to deal with her again. Yay. Using Polyjuice Potion, the trio infiltrate the Ministry and find the locket around Umbridge's neck. Harry sends Umbridge and Hermione retrieves the locket. The trios give their pursuers by operating in the wilderness. Ron is injured and cannot operate again until he recovers. Aw, poor Ron. After unsuccessful attempts to destroy the Horcrux, the trio take turns wielding it to dilute its power. Harry sees a vision of Voldemort interrogating and killing the wandmaker Gregorovitch, who claims a teenage boy stole the legendary Elder Wand from a shop. While Ron is wearing the locket, he is overcome by negative feelings and falls out with Harry before abandoning him and Hermione. Hermione deduces that the sword of Gryffindor can destroy Horcruxes and decides to go with Harry to Godric's Hollow. They visit Harry's parents' graves and the house where they were killed. They encounter Bathilda Bagshot, who they believe may have the sword. Bathilda lets them into her house before revealing herself as Nagini, possessing Bathilda's reanimated corpse. Ugh. Hermione and Harry escape to the Forest of Dean, but Hermione accidentally breaks Harry's wand whilst fighting Nagini. She identifies the mysterious thief in Harry's vision as Gellard Grindelwald. Ooh. Harry sees a Patronus in the form of a doe, which leads him to a frozen pond. Gryffindor's sword lies beneath the pond's ice, which Harry breaks and jumps into. The locket around his neck strangles Harry, but Ron arrives and rescues him. Yay! Harry uses Parseltongue to open the Horcrux locket, which Ron eventually decides to destroy. Hermione and Ron reconcile, and the trio decide to visit Xenophilius Lovegood to learn more about a symbol left in the book Dumbledore left Hermione. Lovegood explains to them that the symbol represents the Deathly Hallows, 3 magic objects that can make a wizard master of death. Hermione reads the story of the Hallows, after which the trio awkwardly attempt to leave but are stopped by Lovegood. He realizes that Luna Lovegood has been kidnapped and then summons the Death Eaters, intending to hand over Harry in exchange for her. Traitor! Harry, Ron, and Hermione separate as Lovegood's house is destroyed. Back in the wilderness, the trio set up camp as Snatchers find them. Hermione uses a curse to disguise Harry as the Snatchers take them to Malfoy Manor. Bellatrix Lestrange imprisons Harry and Ron in the cellar with Luna, Ollivander, and Griphook the Goblin. Bellatrix tortures Hermione for information on the sword, which Bellatrix claims was in her vault at Gringotts. Harry requests help, communicating with a broken mirror in his possession. Dobby apparates into the cellar to save them. Harry and Ron rush to save Hermione, and a bell ensues that sees Harry disarm Draco Malfoy. Dobby drops a chandelier on Bellatrix, forcing her to release Hermione. Voldemort throws her knife at them as Dobby grabs everyone and disapparates. They arrive at the Shell Cottage to find that Bellatrix's knife has fatally wounded Dobby. No! Dobby says that they buried Dobby without any magic. Meanwhile, Voldemort breaks into Dumbledore's tomb and steals the Elder Wand, revealed to have been in Dumbledore's possession. Okay then. Anywho, let's look at the production of this movie. Part 1 was filmed back-to-back with Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2 from the 19th of February 2009 to June 12, 2010. Director David Yates, who shot the film alongside director of photography Eduardo Serra, described Part 1 as, quote, quite real, a, quote, road movie that's, quote, almost like a verite documentary. Originally set for a single theatrical release, the idea to split the book into 2 parts was suggested by executive producer Lionel Wigram, due to what David Heyman called, quote, creative imperative. Heyman initially responded negatively to the idea, but Wigram asked, quote, no, David, how are we going to do it? After reading the book and discussing with screenwriter Cloves, he agreed with the division. The production filmed at Dartford Crossing for the dramatic chase where Harry and Hagrid are being ambushed by Death Eaters. Anywho, now onto the sets. Stuart Craig, set designer for all the previous Harry Potter films, returned for the final 2 parts. He said, quote, we made a very different kind of film, which was shot a great deal on location. We traveled quite far, we built the sets, and they spent a lot of time in the forest, he explained. Quote, we built forest sets and integrated them into the real forest, so there were challenges there, as you must imagine. Craig was ultimately nominated for an Academy Award for his work on Part 1. Nice! Of the wedding tale for Bill and Fleur's Wedding Part 1, Craig commented on his aim to, quote, rather than make an extension of the house, which is rather eccentric, homemade, was said to make rather elegant. Its line was silk and beautiful floating candelabra, so it was a nice contrast with the house. For the Mystery of Magic set, he noted, quote, this is an underground world, this is a ministry, so we went to the real ministries, the Muggle ministries, Whitewall in London, and decided that our magical ministry was kind of a parallel universe to these real ministries. Craig also commented on his design of Malfoy Manor, saying that it is, quote, quote, a very strong architectural set. The exterior is based on an Elizabethan house here in this country called Hardwick Hall, and it has massive windows. And these windows are kind of blinded out. The shutters are drawn so they are like blind windows, and they have a real kind of presence, an ominous presence. So that gave us the basis for a good exterior. There's an extraordinary magical roof that's added and surrounded by forest, which isn't there in reality, but again is one of the devices to make it more threatening and mysterious. Interesting. Anyway, now on to costumes. The costumes of Part 1 were designed by Jenny Tamine, who has been the costume designer on Harry Potter productions since Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Tamine was involved in a controversy regarding her work on Fleur Delacour's wedding dress. She was accused of copying the design from a similar dress from Alexander McQueen's Fall 2008 collection. Tamine spoke about the dress, saying that she, quote, wanted it to be a witch wedding dress but not a Halloween dress. The dress is white, but it needed to have something fantastic to it. So there was the phoenix motif, the bird, which is a symbol of love in a way because there is rebirth. Love never dies, it is born again. That's true. Anyway, now on to the visual effects. After working on every film since Prisoner of Azkaban, Double Negative was asked to provide the visual effects for the final installments of the story and Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Parts 1 and 2. Working closely with the film's VFX supervisor, Tim Burke, the team was led by VFX supervisor David Vickery, and VFX producer Charlotte Lolane. The main team also included 3D supervisor Rick Leary and 2D supervisor Sean Stranks. Double Negative's work for Part 1 included the corroding Warner Brothers logo and extensive environment extensions of the borough and its surrounds. Additional environment work was completed on Xenophilius Lovegood's home, extending into 3D and culminating in the Death Eater's attack. Double Negative also advanced the Death Eater's smoke effects with the introduction of the Flayed Man stage in between their smoky, fluid flying stage and their live-action presence upon landing. Other work included the Patronus charm that interrupts the wedding party to inform the guests that Voldemort has taken over the Ministry of Magic. The visual effects company Framestar produced most of the creature CGI, as in previous films, as well as the animated Tale of the Three Brothers sequence, which was directed and designed by Ben Hibbon. Now finally, the music. Composer Nicholas Huber, who scored Order of the Phoenix and Half-Blood Prince, did not return for Deathly Hallows. Instead, Alexandre Desplat was hired to compose the score for Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. The film also featured the song Oh Children by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. Interesting. So it's the penultimate chapter to the Harry Potter film series. It's pretty darn grim and bleak, if you ask me. So overall, I give Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 5 wands out of 5. Well, tune in tomorrow to take a look at the final chapter of the Harry Potter film series, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. So, until then, bye everybody.